We're back. I'm back. We're together. You're here. I'm so happy. Wendy from Content Planning 101 and West Seattle Content Desk coming to you with a little bit of magic for today. Are you ready? Because what I give you today is going to be how you tie it all together into planning through the content funnel. Now, I made up a day. This is totally relevant. I made up a day. It's called my Business Observation Day. Sorry, that was my dog just walking under the tripod. Business Observation Day. What happens here is it's a day that's made up of different tasks, some content and some business. So we're going to handle the content ones today. I'm going to share it with you. This is exciting. So first of all, I'm not going to use my business as an example because boring and gratuitous. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of your businesses. It's Bend and Move from Tamara Gilleste. That's a yoga movement studio. And she's actually a yoga therapist. And it's part imaginary because I don't think she has this one thing in the works. Here you go. The person that Tamara wants to target in her yoga studio is, she can have more than one audience. She certainly does. But this is one that I haven't worked with her on before. It's the Gen Xer, so the 40-something, late 30s, 40s, 50s, something, pre-baby boomer, who's exhausted all the time and stressed out. So they're stressed to the point of exhaustion. Gen Xer. They have plenty to do in a day. Probably kids. They probably have parents who are approaching the need for some help in their age or some medical care, that kind of thing. So they're getting pulled in many different directions. And I thought we'd work on a little bit of a content funnel that would target that audience today. Here we go. Okay, so starting with the top of the funnel, the tofu, what I would do is I would set a little bit of time aside to come up with 3 to 5 different sort of areas to work on. Now, I already have something to work on with Tamara, and that will be an audio series that I don't think she's created yet. So, ta-da! Here's an idea. So in this scenario, Tamara has a lead generator that it is a Breathe With Me sample audio to help for stress relief, to help the audience sort of relax and get in touch with their breath, to slow their heart rate, perhaps, slow their brain rate, just regulate things and get them in touch, like kind of out of their head and back into their body. So what I'd recommend is like, you choose what you'll be working on, like what that bottom offer will be. You pick that, and then you start with top of funnel questions. And in terms of the Business Observation Day or the BOD, I would come up with 5 to a dozen article or post types, like post titles, if you will. You're not going to write them all today. You're just going to come up with the ideas, and then you're going to plan them out and date them. That's all we're going to do in the tofu. So we're going to look at that like, oh, okay, it's an audio 5-pack series to help people relax and have a choice about what types of relaxation they want to get into, okay? You work back up and you think, oh gosh, if their sleep is being impacted because of all this stress, and it probably is, I want to address that in a post. If their digestive tract is upset or bad things are happening in that tube, you want to address that, maybe. Those kinds of things. So anxiety, sleep disruption, getting enough sleep, why you want that, feeling good. I've written out a couple of more things below the video to help you with that. So come up with 5 to 12 titles, like things that you'll be able to dig into relatively easily. It's not going to take you a lot of time to help share what the point is and help you in each of these post, you're going to have a call to action at the bottom that is to download a sample or a snippet or a very small audio. That's her lead gen. It's a breathe with me snippet. It's between 90 seconds and 3 minutes long, and it gives them a sample, something to sort of say, hey, can I do this? The reason I think audio is going to work great is because commute times, audio is huge right now, and it's easy for them to use in the gym, use in the car, sneak it into their earbuds in the office, if you will. That never happens. But it's a way to help them relax and get in touch, and also get a little bit of what it would be like to work with Tamara or to have this 5-pack series. Now, the middle of the funnel, what we do too, I have a little bit of time set aside where I'm like, what else can I talk about in the tofu? What that's going to do is extend the life of that lead generator. Because if you have more to talk about, you're more excited about like, oh, this. So one thing that I know about Tamara's business is that it really, her work helps to get you in touch with your vagus nerve, which is one of the cranial nerves, one of 12. I learned so much when I work with you guys. And that is the nerve, or sort of like gathering of nerves. It's called one, but it's a gathering of nerves. And it regulates things that you're unconscious about, that your body just does for you, like, you know, breathing and heart rate and digestive tract and those sort of things. So Tamara could essentially introduce folks to the vagus nerve, why you want to make friends with it, and then you go through a couple of things, and it's really easy when you get this audio that talks about breathing, and it really sort of stimulates your vagus nerve and gets it into action, because it can't all be cortisol all day long. So that's one thing that I would look at, and I would just look for ways of like, how can I incorporate this lead gen and talk about it? Because if you can't, that's fine. If you're like at a stop point with the brainstorming, then do it, then stop. And it's time to sort of think about retiring that lead gen for a little while, sort of taking it out of the picture, or making a plan to take it out of the picture and creating a new one. So you could have a new lead gen of that sort, like quarterly would be awesome. If you're updating your website once a week and you have a quarterly lead gen, great. That's awesome. It will expire. It will get stale. You'll hate it after a point, and it'll be time for something new. So just be aware of that. Moving further into the BOFU of our BOD work. All these acronyms, God, they're funny. So the BOFU is where you take a look at that lead gen and the tofu work that you've already done, and you're like, just assessing who has used this 5-pack audio. And this is where you can activate some of your network as well to help you with content to build that out. Perhaps Tamara would send samples of the 5-pack audio, or even the snippets, and to her networking group and say, hey, would you please review this on, you know, U10, if you could review it on Yelp, U10, if you could review it on Facebook, and U10, if you could review it in some of the neighborhood or community things, that'd be awesome. So she's just activated and deployed and asked about 30 people to sample that work and to review it honestly. So that's awesome. Another sort of target area she could issue a sample to would be other wellness professionals, or perhaps a well-known doctor having to do with relaxation or stress, that kind of a thing, or a sleep therapist or something along those lines. Like, who can you involve or share this with that it might be helpful, and they may have something helpful to share. You can make relationships, you can nurture them, you can let them know that you'll be printing these testimonials and reviews on your website as well. And that's bottom of the funnel content that helps people understand who's saying what about that product and helping them choose whether or not it's the right one for them. So That's how I activate my content plan. And I've written it all out, so don't be scared about, this video and like, oh my gosh, she went through that so fast. Go through the text. It's right there. And if you're interested in the other tasks that I perform in my business observation day, will you hit reply and just let me know, and I'll figure out whether or not that's something that you guys want to hear. It doesn't take that long, but it really keeps me on track through the year. It happens once a month, my BOD days, and it doesn't have to take a whole day either. All right, friends, that's what I got for this week. And so I'm interested in one, are you interested in the other tasks in my business observation day? And two, like, how is that funnel looking for your one product or service? How is that going? If you're stuck, just reach out, just hit reply and say, I need like 5 minutes of help. If you need a one-on-one or a longer series or a longer consult, we can do that too. That's okay. Here for you, and we get through a lot in an hour. I hope you're doing well. I really do. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.